Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Super Mario Galaxy, part 37. I want to say part 37. Fellas, welcome back. Boy, guys, when I tell you I had quite the conundrum a minute ago, this is being recorded pretty shortly after the last episode, but I kind of was trying to figure out a little bit how the audio settings were going to work. And I think it's going to take some adjusting. I don't think it will be as difficult for Archipelago. I think the audio settings should mostly be the same. But the general mic orientation I'm using is roughly the same, but I'm in a more spacious space. So I've been trying to hopefully see if I can prevent any potential echo coming through because of the fact that the space that I'm in, it's obviously the same room, but there's a lot cleared out. So everything is generally a lot more spacious now, right? Is there anything we can do here? Anything we can do? I have to assume there has to be, right? But yeah, I'm really trying to get the audio settings down and get them in such a way where, you know, they sound fine on the new setup. It's going to take a little bit, and I think for a little while, the audio settings in these videos are going to be a little awkward. I think they're just going to be that way, and I hope you guys can forgive me. I'm going to be trying to figure out what in the world we're doing with them, but I think with time we're going to get there. Guys, do you see this? I want to show you this. Do you see this? Look at this. 9 stars. Can you believe it? Fellas, welcome back. In the last episode, we cleared out actually 3 stars. I was going to say 2, but it was actually 3 because we did that one Luigi star where he's like, hey, find me in this location. Bet you can't do it. And then, you know, he's in the most obvious spot in the world. He's on top of Good Egg Galaxy. He's on top of that initial spawn house in Good Egg Galaxy. Okay, never... Well, I don't want to say I've never seen that happening. I probably have, but... fellas, welcome back. Guys, I want to spend more time, by the way, in this episode, talking a little bit about this Switch 2 experience so far. Because again, like I said, I have had this console for less than a week. It has been nothing but good things. Something I wanted to mention in the last episode, by the way, that I failed to mention. The Joy-Cons, and I'm using, because I've always notoriously used the grip when I play on the Switch, right? I've always used the grip. The grip feels bigger, it feels better. The Joy-Cons are obviously bigger and better, but biggest deal. Hold on, I don't know if this is going to pick up on the mic, but... Oh, dude. I hope that picked up, because something about the magnetic Joy-Cons this go around are so satisfying. They're just so good. They're genuinely so good, and I love them. They're easier to attach overall. They're more satisfying, and they feel more engaged. Something that I was telling my friend, okay? This is something I'm going to say. Something I was telling my friend when we were talking about the Switch 2 is that I thought, personally, that the Switch 1 was a great console. And I will always stand by it. I think the Switch 1 was an incredible console, and there's a reason that it was such a massive success for Nintendo, I think. The problem that I do think the Switch 1 encountered, though, is that in some areas where Nintendo has been very strong about on past consoles, even the more failed ones, such as the Wii U, right? You know, you look at the Wii U, for example. There has been charm in areas of the console that were just kind of lacking on the Switch 1. I think on the Switch 1, there is charm that was lacking on the home menu. And in a lot of ways, I don't even want to say it was because of the home menu concept itself, where it's more minimalistic, it's more straight to the point. I think that aspect of the Switch 1 home menu is fine. I think there is nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of what the Switch is going for is very much this snappy, let's get you to what you need to go to sort of design philosophy, right? And I think that's okay. Now, the thing is, wow, this is weird. Oh, this is very weird. I don't know. It's stars like this that make me question if I've ever really 100% this game, you know? Because, like, when in God's name did I do this? Like, I do not remember this purple coin star, like, at all, dude. Can I get this one? I can. Let's go. this one. There's probably, I want to say there's a more efficient way, but like, what other way would you do this? But what I've realized about the Switch 2 is that fundamentally, as you see, and I did this bit multiple times last episode. Hey, can I got this purple coin? You can do that? Oh, that's tech to me that I didn't know. That makes this so much easier. There might have been areas back in like Beach Bowl Galaxy that I used it and I just don't know. But if I didn't, oh my God, I made my life a lot harder when we were in Beach Bowl Galaxy. That's crazy, dude. Hold up, let me get this. Let me get this. Okay. 36. This is going to be one of those scavenger hunt ones, which those are a little more convenient for me to yap to, so kind of can't complain that much. Get me. Yeah, 2 and 1. Okay, 39. I feel like I should have 40 now, but like I don't. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, well, this isn't exactly 40, but yeah, I feel as if the Switch 2 has done a very interesting thing where it has basically put character into a lot of the aspects of the Switch that I think lacked at least some character. Like, you don't need... I wasn't even fully expecting them to do massive amounts of character that we got on, like, the 3DS or the Wii or something. Or the DS, you know? I'm not expecting them to do that much because clearly they're going for a more minimalistic vision with the Switch. And I think that in a lot of regards, people will cite that as the failure point for the Switch's charisma. But I think there can be charisma. It's just you need to be able to have just a little bit, just that tiny bit that really reminds you that, hey, you're playing a Nintendo console, right? You need to have that little bit to remind you that what you're playing is a Nintendo console. And personally, I don't think the Switch 1 provided that. Now, the Switch 2, on the other hand, it made a very subtle change. There's a couple subtle changes to the home menu that I think sell, and some might even call it the illusion of character. But for me, it just feels way more characteristic as a whole. If I go to the home menu real quick, first of all, that sounds great, but like when you move around, these sounds just itch the brain compared to Switch 1. I mean, like if you listen to like, I don't know, this sound. Ooh, kind of clean. Ooh, a little clean. Ooh, a little clean, you know? Go to Game Share. Like, sounds in this regard did technically exist on the Switch 1, but I think that the sound design on Switch 1 was like we're gonna get the job done. We're not gonna give you that sort of sound. We're not gonna focus on giving you that sort of sound that really makes the brain click, you know? We're gonna give you something that functionally works and doesn't sound like complete and utter dog water, right? And I think the Switch 1, in that regard, did succeed, right? I think in that regard it did succeed in its mission. But I just think that, again, it lacked the character. Do I have to, like... Wouldn't this be funny if this is what you had to do? Do I have to, like... No, they probably just want me back. Yeah, what in the world is this, man? Okay. Yeah, we're just doing whatever, bro. We're just putting them wherever we want. That's crazy. There's gonna, I don't know why, but I get the hunch, right? I get the hunch there's gonna be like that one that I just completely missed. There's one up there I missed. Dude, okay. This is gonna be a pain. How in the world do you get these? How in the, oh, you have to wall jump. This is such a weird purple coin mission, man. Because it's like, it's in this specific area. I thought they were going to do it more in, like, the outside region at the beginning of Deep Dark Galaxy. That's the name of it. But, yeah, I don't know, man. There's just so much character that is packed in the Switch 2. I also think the eShop, which was one of the most lacking points in the Switch as a whole, and genuinely had the weakest eShop, or the genuine, like... weakest digital store I've ever seen on a console ever. I'm going to be real with you. I think it had the weakest digital store I have ever seen on a console, and nobody will ever be able to convince me otherwise, okay? But the Switch 2 actually worked on it a lot more. Now, I don't think it oozes character, okay? Let's get that straight. It's still the same general idea, but they did a lot of small things, such as making it so that, hey, you have like a Steam-esque discovery queue that you can mess with, right? And you get like weekly recommendations for games to play, and I think that's really cool, okay? I think that's really cool. I also think that because of the general, like, you know, kind of overhaul they gave to the overall Switch aesthetic, where it's a little more like clean now, right? You got the rounded edges, right? But you got a little more of these interesting colors going on. There is just, in general, a little more pizzazz that goes on with the UI of the eShop now. It did not... Okay, let me get this abundantly clear, because I know that a lot of this is Switch 2 glazing right now. I hate the word glazing, by the way. I hate how that term's been utilized for just something that you like. I don't really love it. But if there is something that I am going to give a general criticism, it's that at the moment, at least, the eShop does still accept just whatever. And that usually means that you get AI slop. You get, like, these weird, like, AI, like, wee-woo games. I don't even... Why did I hit not save? Well, that's making me hope we really do another star this episode, because I'd love for that to save. Okay, 112, man. Jesus. We're making progress. I assume I have to go back to the prankster comment Luma to get another one going. But yeah, there's just like, I don't know, man. There's like a lot more character that comes out of this console that I do think exists, despite any flaws it may have. Hey, no, I actually don't want to do that yet. I didn't mean to talk to you. But I think also one tiny little thing that really, I don't know what it is about this, but one little tiny thing that especially really makes me feel at home with this console compared to Switch 1, where it kind of felt like a means to an end to start playing a game. When you have your Switch 2 in the dock, and you power it on, it plays a little jingle now before it actually turns on the signal. Guys, that's sick. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's such a tiny thing, okay? I want to make this very clear. This isn't some gigantic thing. Again, we lived without that on the Switch 1, but something about getting to boot up my console and docked and just get kind of greeted with that. Guys, it feels like Nintendo is filling in a lot of the missing gaps of character that I felt was lacking on the Switch 1. Because again, that has always been one of my biggest complaints of the Switch, and maybe I talked about this in some video in the past, maybe I didn't, I don't really know, but yeah, I genuinely think one of the biggest areas that was lacking on the Switch was that it lacked character in so many regards. It was, in a lot of cases, and I would say arguably if you're going to do something, this should be the case, but it was very much function over appearance, right? Which I think generally function is more important. Granted, I would argue the Switch 1 sucked at function a little bit though. If you ever went on the Switch eShop, one of the biggest problems that I always felt it had as well, on top of the AI slop, on top of the fact that it looked bland and uninspired, right, was that it performed like complete and utter dog water. I don't know why I said it like that, but it completely performed like complete and utter dog water, and it was just horrible. It was the most laggy, just tedious experience to go through, and it's a digital storefront to buy a digital game. Like, why does this have to be something that is so... Why does this have to be something that is so difficult, right? And what I can thankfully say at the moment, and I feel as if maybe this is subject to change depending on how many more games get updated to the storefront, right? The Switch 2's eShop feels great to navigate. It doesn't really have many hitches. It'll take like half a second to load a portion of the page, and that's it. And that's great, because something you need to take into account, guys, is that it's not like, you know, I think obviously the Switch 2 exclusive games are starting pretty fresh, right? They're starting pretty from scratch, but What isn't starting from scratch is the fact that the Switch 2 eShop is still having to load in everything that was already pre-established on the Switch 1. And it is loading it a million times better than the Switch 1 ever did. It's genuinely, I mean, just insane, right? It's genuinely complete and utter insanity to me how much better of an experience it is for the user. You know, again, the Switch eShop still has its gripes. Again, there's still stupid AI slop that exists on it, and it's not good, man. What the hello? Am I having a stroke? Okay, you know what? Honestly, I'll take it. I'll take it, man. But, you know, like, it still has its issues. But my God, is it such a better experience for the user to an extent that I can't even fathom, man. I don't know. It's just overall been great. It's overall been great. And like I said, I have not really had hardly any snags that I've felt with the Switch 2 thus far. The biggest complaint that I had was that in the first few days that I was using it, I was actually playing it exclusively handheld because I didn't have that cable for my capture card, meaning that, yes, I could power the Switch 2 to my dock, but I couldn't play off of the dock necessarily, right? And I know what you're thinking, play off of a monitor. No, I play off of the Elgato Preview, which, like I said, the latency feels less than the Switch 1 right now for some reason, but that actually could just be a placebo thing. So I'm not going to sit here and definitively say that that is what is going on. But nonetheless, it has been mostly good. The biggest problem I will say, and it's not even really, I don't have a huge gripe with it because I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a thing of it has more power. So naturally, this is just going to happen. It consumes more wattage, but it still kind of sucks, right? Sorry, fellas, my kitty cat has decided to make an appearance. That's another thing, dude. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time during this talking about the Switch 2, but I have ultimately gotten a new setup situated in this room that has also been kind of a big deal. And my cat, or the family cat, right, Bob, praise be Bob, he always would try and use my old desk, which was a desk that was clearly not designed for the type of stuff that I do, where it's more gaming oriented or more video production oriented, right? So what would typically happen is that he would use my desk as a means to hop and make the biggest leap of faith I've ever seen up to the top of my closet, which is, you know, filled to the brim with a bunch of stuff. And he always basically ran the risk. This is... Okay, well, that was surprising that worked that way that did. I have 9 more. Where is... Oh, you know where I'm probably missing it? But he always basically ran the risk of making an avalanche fall out of all the stuff that resided there, right? And now, with a bunch of the space that we've cleared out, he doesn't actually have the availability to do that. So now, he actually, and this is a great example, right? Because right now, he is actually sitting on my desk, but he is not in the way. He is in a very, like, off-put spot. I basically, for point of reference, I have an L-shaped desk now, right? I have an L-shaped desk now, so he is kind of sitting on the horizontal-ish L part of it, and that's very out of the way for what I'm doing, and it actually, you know, makes what I still do very, very accessible. He's made it a point that he really likes this area, so he wanted on in a minute ago, which is why I have to do the jump cut. Here's to hoping and praying. I hope and pray that one of these days I don't forget to do a jump cut when I need to do one. I feel like one of these days it's gonna happen. Right? I feel like one of these days it's going to happen. It's just kind of a matter of when. Where are these last 5 purple coins? This is my burning question. Are they... They got to be like up here, right? Hold on. Wait a minute. Do this. Is there 5 in here? Please tell me this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count. That's great. That's so swell. Okay, cool. And that's probably the last star we're able to do this episode. Imagine that, fellas. Hey, well, I can't get to the outro yet because why did I go back in? Get me out of here. I can't do the outro yet because we haven't finished the star. Oh. Please give me that. Guys, that was about to be the most horrific thing that has ever happened in this whole Let's Play. Oh my god. Where is the star? Where is it? Is it? Oh no, I'm gonna... It's not over here, is it? Ooh, is it? It's probably up by the top. See, this is making me anxious now, because now I don't know. Oh, this sucks. I just want to finish out this episode. Is it too much to ask for? Just like to finish out this episode. Oh, oh. There we go. Oh yeah, it's up here. I can do it. I made that mistake several times already. Boom, boom. Get me up. And bingo. Okay, cool. That took a little bit, but we got there. We had a near-death experience. It's all good. Don't even worry about it. If you're worried about it, quit worrying about it. I wouldn't worry about it. There's nothing to worry about whatsoever. Cool. Anyways, fellas, hey, Galaxy complete. Can't believe it. What is our star count now? Let's actually save the game this time, since I don't plan to do any more recording today, I think. I might do more depending on what I'm feeling. But, fellas, we're at 113 stars. Jeez, we're 7 away. Hey, Bob, you whacked me with your tail, you silly Billy. Fellas, that is going to do it for this episode of Super Mario Galaxy Part 37. Hey, Part 37. Honestly, guys, I'm very convinced at this point, there might be a decent chance that we beat Super Mario Party Jamboree. We've got 5 episodes to do it. But this could be like another Donkey Kong 64 situation where we get awfully close, but we don't exactly get there, right? This could be another one of those situations. Only time will tell. Fellas, it just, you know, the more progress we make on this Let's Play, the crazier it feels. You know, we've come such a long way, and there's been so much to do. There's been so much to see. And like I said, after this Let's Play, I think we've got a very, very fun journey ahead of us. You know, no guarantee it's going to be the next Let's Play, but it probably will be. Okay, probably will be, and it's going to be very, very exciting. I have no doubt. And nonetheless, though, we gotta finish this. We gotta finish this Let's Play. I know, right? It's such a bore, Mario. We gotta finish this Let's Play, which we will do, hopefully here soon. But that is going to do it for this episode of Super Mario Galaxy, fellas. And do the format right. If you enjoyed this video, maybe like, comment, subscribe. I don't know, it's your life. Do what you want. I don't really care. And I will see you fellas in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.